This is my activity process. After the start event, the process will call the user task, enter job ID. This task is assigned to Kermit. After Kermit enter a job ID, the process will call the script task validate job ID to check whether the entered job ID is a positive number. If the job ID is a positive number, then the sub-process will be called. Otherwise, a user task will be called to correct the job ID. The user task is assigned to Gonzong. After Gonzong corrects the job ID, it will also move to the sub-process. The start point of the sub-process receives the data from previous tasks, and then it will move to the service task. This service task will call the RESTful API and get the corresponding job level info of the job ID. If no exception happens, it will go to the end event of this sub-process. And if there exists an exception, an arrow end event will throw this arrow. And if the arrow thrown by the event, the boundary arrow event will catch this arrow, and then it forward to the user task. This user task is assigned to Fuzzy. Fuzzy will look into this exception and do some change on the job ID, and then pass to the sub-process. This process will continue until there's no exception happens. Then it will move to the parallel gateway. This gateway forks two branches. One branch will go to the user task. This task is also assigned to Fuzzy. Fuzzy will approve the part 1 info, which includes the job level and the job ID. And the other branches first goes to the service task, QueryDB. This service task will query RDS and get the variables salary range from and salary range to of the corresponding job ID. And then it will go to the script task validate salary to check whether the salary range from is larger than the salary range to. If so, it will set the salary range to as the same with the salary range from, and then it will go to the user task approve part 1, part 2 info. This task is assigned to Gonzong. After Gonzong approved this part 2 info, which includes the salary range from, salary range to, and job info, the two branches join, and then it will move to the user task approve total info. This task is assigned to Kermit. After Kermit completes this task, the whole process moves to the endpoint and is totally completed. Now let's start the process and to see a certain case. Now I log in with the Kermit account. I enter a job ID, an invalid job ID, for example. I complete the task. As what we shows in the process, it will go to the user task, which is assigned to Gonzong. So we log in, use Gonzong, and we find it has a task. Now we correct the job ID. We enter a job ID which will cause a RESTful API exception. We click the complete task and then we log out. As the exception was dealt with by the Fuzzy, so we log in using Fuzzy. fuzzy. Then we can see the job ID. We crack the job ID and complete the task. However, it also calls an exception, so it continues. It is also, so we enter a valid job ID which will not throw an exception. Then we can say it is completed, and we approve the part 1 info. Now we move to the other branch. We log in by Gongzong. We can see it already gets the range salary range from, and salary range to from the RDS. And we approve the part 2 info. We complete the task, and then we log out. We log in by Kermit to do the last proof task. We can see here is a proof total info task. We can approve all and complete task. We can see this task is already completed.